As you can see, Joey Carbery is here with us. Joey, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
You're on a week off.
Yeah, nice little week to kind of refresh, and it's been a busy few weeks, so looking forward to it.
And are you going to stop and think and go, holy shit, we just won the Grand Slam and beat Saracens? Or is it going to be like, no, don't think about that until the end of the season?
It'd be great just to sit on what we've done, but we're in a good position now, so we want to keep building. So we're going to take it week by week and keep preparing.
Wouldn't it be much better if the Grand Slam was at the end of the year and you can go completely mental and actually enjoy it properly?
Yeah, it is tough because having been in camp and stuff for 9 weeks, it's pretty tiring. And then obviously it was a huge few weeks, and we were lucky to win it. And then straight back into almost a quarter-final week and back into preparing for that. So yeah, it is. It's a bit weird, but I suppose it makes everyone a bit more hungry as well. Coming into the end of the year and getting that taste of silverware really makes everyone want a bit more, I suppose.
What was Twickenham like? Is that your first time there?
First time there, yeah. It's pretty cold, I must say, with a bit of snow as well, which wasn't too bad. But no, it's an incredible stadium, and the atmosphere is electric. So many Irish people there as well.
Yeah.
Like after when we got our medals and was doing a walk around and stuff, all the Irish people stayed, and I'd say the stadium was still half full. So it was pretty incredible.
A couple of things struck us from, so you come on with about 10 minutes left to go in the first half and see out the rest of the first half, and I think it was James Downey who pointed out that Johnny Sexton's actually, he's waited behind to make sure that he's there to go off with you. He kind of gives you a high five at the end of that. So that must have been, obviously it's a clear sign that he's not like, there's proper kind of closeness there, and he's looking out for you. And the second thing, in the second half, the first thing that happens when you come on is you get absolutely smashed by one of their back row forwards, like way after the ball has gone. It's like, okay, I guess that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, it was nice of Johnny to wait for me at the end there. We do get on really well. We spend a good bit of time together through training and kicking and stuff, so it's good to have someone there you can chat to, and someone who's been through it all and seen it all really as well. So great guy to know.
Why was he waiting for you? What's it like, just to, okay, this is going well now, keep going kind of thing? Or
I'd say maybe just could have been encouragement or something. It was nice to see him though when you're running off, and everyone was. It was pretty exciting. It was pretty intense that whole game. So I suppose everyone was just trying to stick together and make sure we pulled through. Yeah,
and then getting completely dumped. And you're like, oh yeah, great. Thanks.
I actually didn't even see that one coming either. So there was no way I could even prepare for it. So I think I just passed the ball inside, and then it just hit me from the side. So it hurt a bit, but. Look.
Do you expect that? Like, do you expect, okay, I'm the 10, they're trying to kill me here, and that's just the way, that's the rules of engagement. Like, so we saw it with Saracens and Sexton at the weekend, that like, the 10 gets hit, the ball might be there sometimes, generally it's not.
Yeah, like, I suppose with the 10 being pretty pivotal, like in the team's attack, putting him under pressure would like make his job a bit harder. But then I suppose like if you're being targeted, then you're hoping that there's going to be space somewhere else for someone else. So yeah, like I suppose you're doing your job right if you're being targeted.
Yeah, Brian O'Driscoll in commentary at the weekend was saying Sexton's not going to feel it right now, but obviously, you know, it's a clear sign that they really respect him, and it's
yeah, exactly.
It's a positive thing.
Exactly, like if you weren't doing your job right, then I'm pretty sure they'd just be ignoring you. So,
yeah,
it's a sign you're doing something right anyway.
When Johnny Sexton is waiting for you in that sort of position, like what's that sort of relationship like? I presume it's a two-way street, as in he's taking you under his wing to a certain extent. It's obviously got benefits for him as well. I'm sure there's the obvious thing of competition, but also I'm sure when you're on the training pitch, you're almost as intense as Johnny as well in terms of being a complete perfectionist.
Yeah, I suppose that comes part and parcel with being a 10. You kind of have to lead and kind of organise things, so if it's not up to scratch, sometimes it does look like it's on your shoulders, so you want everything going well, but then like I train pretty hard and I try my best, so I'm hoping I'm putting Johnny under pressure, and that then involves him playing better, so like the element of competition, and I'm hoping anyway that I'm putting him under a bit of pressure, so he feels like he might need to perform that bit better.
Is that dynamic any bit different at all when you're in Ireland camp as opposed to Leinster camp? Because obviously with Ireland you've got a different leadership, just more leaders basically, with the likes of Peter O'Mahony and Rory Beston there as well. Obviously you've got the likes of Visa Nasewa and stuff when it comes to Leinster, so there's no shortage of leaders for sure. But is it a different dynamic at all, even just with different coaches and stuff?
Not really. I think like competition is so important in the team, because then it does drive everyone to play better. But no, I don't think it's too much different really.
Who's winning those kicking competitions that you guys are having?
It wasn't Murray anyway when we were in Irish camp. But no, they're pretty close at the moment. There's a hoop in Leinster that we've been trying to kick it in. No one's got it in yet, so I think that's the ultimate.
Where's the hoop?
So it's on the training pitch. So it's used for the hookers. So the hookers so it's at a decent enough height, but it wouldn't be like extremely high, and it's only a small, probably the size of that fan maybe. So we take it from about 30 metres back.
Yeah.
And then now there's been a few close ones, but there's no one yet. So
just to confirm, you're not saying you're beating Sexton, but you're definitely beating Murray in the kicking competitions at Ireland camp.
That's correct.
And that's fair enough. And the payment is coffee, right? It's
coffee. Yeah, it's normally just coffees in the airport or something.
That's fair enough. And Murray's been buying all the coffees, basically.
Yeah, correct.
That's fair enough. So that obviously improves your kicking. So you're joking about the fact that you're up against each other, but it's pretty serious when you're doing it because you want to win, right?
Exactly. And it's very hard to simulate game scenarios and being under pressure, so that element of competition and not wanting to buy the coffees, I suppose, as well. It's not even the coffees, it's the slagging, I'd say, which is way worse. So you put yourself under a bit of pressure, because if you're just kicking and there's nothing on it really, it's just not the same. So you have to be kind of putting yourself under a bit of pressure.
And does Conor not try and get the kicks removed back to the 50-metre line or something, so that he actually has a better chance now?
No, I think it's unanimous. So Richie Murphy might pick the kicks. So Richie sometimes partakes in it. So it'd have to be a bit closer.
And how does Richie hold? Does he hold his own in those competitions?
Yeah, definitely. Richie still got it.
Right, okay, yeah, because I saw your Instagram post of yourself, Johnny, Richie, and of course Ronan O'Gara there as well. So was there another different sort of element of competition there when Roger
did O'Gara kick?
He did, yeah.
Oh, right. Who
he
won that
actually
one?
won it.
No way.
Yeah,
sickening.
He hasn't lost it at all. So
that's the picture there. That is sickening. That he's still able to no effort.
No,
just off
not even a warm up, just
off the flight from New Zealand.
Exactly, yeah, probably jet lagged as well.
Yeah, sickening. Your own kicking's obviously improved. So I think the last time we had you in studio, you were in a cast for your ankle and you weren't able to do any kicking practice. But your injury, the main injury that you had over the winter, was actually wrist, elbow.
Yeah, my wrist into my arm. So I broke 3 bones across there. So I was just in a cast. I could pretty much after the first week start kicking again. So I had about 7 or 8 weeks of just rehab and kicking. So
kind of boring, but also good for you.
Yeah, it wasn't too boring, because I was kicking with Richie and Emmett Farrell in Leinster, so we were changing it up a good bit. But it was really good. I could literally just concentrate all on place kicking for a few weeks. So
now, it's not ideal. You wouldn't volunteer to have that, but at some stages in your career, to go back and practice one of the most fundamental things that an out half is going to have to do, it's not the worst thing that's ever happened to you, right?
No, exactly. And I suppose you have to see the positives and everything. It was disappointing not playing, and I'd obviously much rather be, but at least I could practice and work on something.
And how much better are you now as a result of something like that?
I think I really nailed my kind of process down to to what I needed to know what I needed to do. So rather than thinking about the kick or the outcome of the kick, I just went back to thinking about what I needed to do. So just going back to staying on line, trying to kick the exact point on the ball that I wanted to.
Are you ripping that off somebody else? Is that your own internal thing? Are you picking it from?
You do get advice, but I suppose every kick is different.
I'm going to grab a ball here so you can show us which bit of the ball are you kicking.
So normally we kick when we play with the Gilberts. The Gilbert will be facing me. So this bit of the Gilbert, so it says Gilbert there. So that'd be facing me. So I try and get my body in line with that Gilbert, because it's a pretty good estimate of where 45 is.
Okay.
So I try and just pick. Normally, if it's a G or the T at the bottom, I try and pick. There's a little R kind of at the end of it, so I try and kick just around there, just staying on the inside, and staying on that line helps me kind of to follow through the ball.
And in terms of alignment for the post, is that how do you fix that? Because
I just use the seams.
Okay.
So I just the seam on where I want it to go, and then I line up from the Gilbert on that.
And is there an angle you can have a so famously, I think it would have been Grant Fox who invented the certain number of steps to the left and then had a kicking style that was a bit kind of round the corner.
Yeah, so I go 4 and 3. So it's just whatever works really for me. And like having that injury, I could test out a few things. Like I changed my tee as well during that time, so I could try out a few different tees and see what best fitted me, kind of. So that was definitely beneficial.
Do you keep stats of every training session, or is it just a more, I feel like it's going well at the moment, or are you like...
I wouldn't like keep stats of trainings. I'd look at my stats in a game maybe, but it's normally like if something's not going right in training when I'm kicking, then I need to fix it. So I need to find out what I'm not doing and then change that. So it's all back to repetition really, and getting that muscle memory back.
How much repetition are we talking here? So if you're doing a kicking session, is it like 20 on the right, 20 in the middle, 20 on the left, and again and again and again?
It kind of varies. Like I suppose like you could be fatigued from the training, so you don't want to do too much either, because kicking can be quite strenuous as well. So you kind of like you warm up maybe a few close ones in front just to kind of get the feeling and the strike going. So and then you can kind of move out, and I normally just go 6 or 7 maybe to the left, 6 or 7 to the right, and then get the kicking coach to maybe pick out 6 or 7 different scenarios. So maybe like a penalty on the 10-metre line a bit to the left, and then a conversion, and then maybe throwing a few kicks to touch, penalties to touch, and it kind of just switches rather than just in front, just mindlessly you just keep kicking. You have to switch in and out of it, so being able to focus back into kicking is important as well.
Because I guess if you're doing it from the one position all the time, you kind of get stuck in this vision a little bit, and you don't have any fresh view on it at all. And if you're moving location a little bit, it kind of feels that you're in a whole new world, as opposed with relation to the posts.
Exactly.
It's kind of like looking at a sheet of paper almost when you're studying for something, and it just stepping away for a while and coming back to it. It's kind of the kicking equivalent to that, I'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly. And like I suppose in a game, you don't know where you're going to get it. You don't know what the weather's going to be like. You don't know what the scenario is going to be like. So being able to like step away and be able to do something, and then having to come back and focus back in, it's important, and I suppose you need to work on it as well.
So many out halves are like, oh, you know, he's a game manager or he's a game breaker. It's good to be able to do a little bit of both, but the thing that you can definitely get better at is managing games, because that's just about going through the experience of it. Much better to be able to be a game breaker and then to add the other stuff to your game, right? Yeah,
well, I suppose game management comes with experience, and as you said, like playing games. So I've been learning a good bit over the last few games, and been pretty big games to be coming into. So I definitely feel like getting the feel for the game and the scenarios that helps a lot, and knowing what to do then comes from that.
Is it unbelievably hard to do that from the bench, because you're looking at it and going, okay, I have a fair idea of how that game flow is going, and I can see where the space is, and I can see how their back three are moving, and I can see where the defence is coming from, and then you get into it, it's like, shit, that's not what I thought at all.
Yeah, it is tough, because like no matter what you do, nothing can ever be the same as when you're actually on the pitch. So being a sub is tough, because you don't know when you're going to be coming on. It could be in the first minute, like Andrew Porter did for Tig, or it could be in the last. So I suppose when you get on, you kind of just try and fit in, get the feel for around you as quick as possible, and then that's when you can start then getting into it. So especially as a 10, it is quite tough to come on sometimes, and trying to feel the game and know what call to make and stuff is tough. But the preparation during the week helps with that. Being chucked at a few different scenarios by the coaches and being put under pressure makes it a bit easier in the game, I suppose.
How does your brain compute when to kick and when to pass or run? Like, what's that decision-making process?
You kind of get a feel for it, like in the middle of the pitch sometimes, if against a team that are putting you under pressure and you just keep going back and back, that's when you need to just put the pressure back on them. Whereas sometimes like you can kind of just know when the defence might be starting to break after a few phases. So it really is just a feel thing, and then the different conditions, like the time, the score, the weather. So a lot of different things come into it.
Because I think when it came to Chicago, I think I remember reading somewhere that Simon Zebo, when he would come on, was just telling you, right, kick it there. And your execution was obviously perfect, but maybe the decision-making, Simon was kind of calling the shots at that point. Is that different now? Or do you have much more confidence in yourself rather than having to be told what to do by a teammate who's perhaps been in the heat of the action? So granted they know how the game is going, but I guess you got a little bit more experience now.
Yeah, definitely, and I think they don't really tell us what to do from the outside. It's more like there's space there.
Okay.
So like they might, as a 10, it's so much easier playing inside guys who are communicating where the space is. So if they can see that the wingers maybe dropping back a good bit, they might be like, right, let's go, run it this way. So I feel like the more I play, the more I see the pictures that bit earlier. But then having guys outside you who can kind of let you know where the space is, and that makes my decision making that bit easier.
Who are those guys? Who are the best people at identifying that space?
Like they're all pretty good at it, but like someone like Robbie outside you is quite vocal, and he's very good at like picking out the space and being able to even then tell you a call to do so. Because the decision making is so quick, and sometimes you might be organising the forwards and then you might not have time to have a look. So having someone like him outside you really helps.
Yeah, I think that's one of his underappreciated skills that I think as soon as he went down, I think we'd all come to the realisation that he was an unbelievably important part, obviously, of Ireland going forward, but especially at the back. And we weren't being opened up all the time, which isn't exactly something that you notice when you look back at a game. It's just things aren't happening for the opposition. But I guess it's his spatial awareness, as you just outlined, that allows Ireland to have that comfort, or so it seems to the audience.
Yeah, he's really good at like having a feel for what's on and what we should be doing, but then he's also really good at communicating it as well. Like you might be able to see it, but being able to communicate the right information is another skill in itself. So he's very good at that, and obviously
even on a pitch, he's shouting at you. You can hear clearly what he's saying.
Yeah. So like, it might not always be there, but like he does get in good information, and the same with Gary and the same with Rob. And they all can see the pictures quite early, so it makes it a lot easier.
And what about your own kind of? You have to develop your own skill set in that, because like the 10 has to be a general, and you've got to be the boss. And it's kind of, well, okay, there's a big lump of a lot of grown men there who you're like not getting. Like you've got to. It doesn't automatically come natural to somebody at an early stage of their career. Yeah,
definitely. And like even with, as I was saying, with the information being fed in, you still have to make the decision on what, because sometimes there might be 2 or 3 different pieces of information being fed in. And like being a 10, you have to be quite assertive with the players around you and almost telling them what to do sometimes. So being quite confident and calm and just imposing yourself on whatever call you make, as long as it's quite clear and confident, that makes a huge difference to them. Whereas if you're a bit stuttery and stop-starty, it doesn't build confidence in them. So I suppose taking responsibility in that is something.
How do you work on that? Because it's not the same as like going away and working on your kicking technique. It's a very different skill set.
Yeah, and I suppose getting advice from other people, like chatting to Johnny about it, and even just watching how he imposes himself. Like it's not even what he says; it's just how he is.
Yeah.
Like, people listen to him, so just little triggers, and like just. I find like the clearer and the more confident you say things, the more people listen to you.
Yeah, it's part performance as much as anything else.
Yeah, definitely. And like I suppose it's a skill with anything in life. I suppose like the more calm and confident you are, the better it's going to be. So when it comes to like people skills, like stuff like chatting, telling people where they need to be, the more clear and confident you are, the better.
In terms of your own form, it's difficult when you're not getting a full 80 minutes in the 10 position to make sure that your form is where it wants to be. So how do you measure that during the week? How do you feel like, yeah, I'm playing well? How do you, like, what are your own markers?
I suppose if I keep getting picked, I must be doing something okay. But then, like, I know myself, like, if I'm training well, if I'm not training, if I hadn't trained that well, then you can kind of get a feel for it yourself. But I suppose I feel like I've been playing well enough when I've come on, and I've done little bits here and there that I hope have been appreciated, I suppose, by the coaches. But no, they seem to be the feedback's pretty positive, so it builds confidence, I suppose.
It must be a bit of a pain at the same time to be like playing really well, and there's also like a world-class 10 in front of you, both at Leinster and Ireland. Like, if you think back to the start of the year, Dan Levy must have been thinking, well, life is not very good here. I've got like Van der Fleer, who everybody says is amazing, breaking records with tackles. I've got Sean O'Brien after a brilliant Lions tour. Rhys Ruddock kind of can play 7 sometimes as well, and then suddenly he's like player of the tournament nearly and man of the match. So the competition is insane, and it can be both good and bad, I guess.
Yeah, and I do think competition makes everyone play that bit better. Having that extra bit of pressure, I suppose, in training, knowing you need to perform there's someone else next to you, in front of you, or behind you. So that's where I think Leinster, we're very blessed. Kind of, there's so much competition that it makes everyone perform that bit better. So
there's going to be speculation now about you moving from Leinster to get game time. What do you say to that?
Well, all I've heard about it is in the media, so there's no one's actually said anything to me. So I don't believe it, and I haven't been told anything. So I'm more than happy in Leinster at the moment.
Yeah, because it makes sense to learn from the best player in that position in the world and to put pressure on that player whenever you possibly can.
And I suppose, like as you said with Levy, like you just don't know with injuries or anything. You could be chucked in straight away. So. No, I'm very happy at Leinster at the moment, and I can feel like I'm learning a lot, and it's definitely developing my game.
Yeah. What, is Levy really the worst trainer of all time? Why is he getting slaughtered by Johnny Sexton when he's getting the Man of the Match award? It's like, this guy doesn't train at all. What's that all about?
Oh, I just think he doesn't like Mondays, I don't think. But no, Levy trains extremely hard when he is training, to be fair to him, and he works. You can see it in the gym and on the pitch, and it's obviously proving dividends right now.
Yeah.
Is someone like Levy training harder to fend off a fit Josh van der Flier coming back, or is he training harder to actually get the jersey off Josh van der Flier?
I'd say it's a bit of both, really. But like, I suppose everyone is striving to get one of the numbers between 1 and 15 on the Saturday or Sunday. So that's everyone's goal. So if that makes people around you play better, then I suppose that's a positive. But in the end of the day, the team comes first, and you gotta back the coaches on their decisions. So if you're in it or you're not, team comes first regardless.
And would that be your personal short-term goal, say, over the next season or two, that just to keep contributing to the team, and should Johnny Sexton ever get injured, that you're happy to fill in that regard? And would that be the same for Rob Kearney then, whatever the position requires of you, that you will be happy to step in and, as you say, just do whatever is needed for the team?
Yeah, definitely. But I suppose everyone has the thing in their back of their head that they want to be starting as well. So like, I'm ambitious. I want to keep pushing hard, and if by pushing harder makes Johnny and Rob play better, then so be it. So I just got to keep working on it and be patient, really.
Because it is a meritocracy. I mean, there is no sense that Dan Levy isn't going to hold on to his jersey as long as he keeps up these performances, because it doesn't matter what his predecessor, I don't want to call him the predecessor in the jersey, the players who we would have assumed had ownership of that jersey. There is no ownership of a jersey in either team, it seems.
No, not at all. And that's why I think the two teams like Leinster and Ireland have been playing so well, because there's an extra bit of hunger and to get into the team and wear the jersey, I suppose. So I suppose that is a huge positive, really, in both teams.
One last thing, Scarlets are bloody good. That's a bit of an issue here.
Yeah, they're very good. Very, very, very dangerous as well, with a lot of threats coming. So we're going to have to prepare quite well for them.
Well, listen, best of luck with that, and thanks very much.
Thank you. Cheers for having me.